Look, if you're anything like me or, the millions of other people out there just trying to stay healthy, you've probably felt this exact frustration. You're eating pretty well, you're staying active, and you're definitely not overeating every single day. Yet somehow, despite all your absolute best efforts, your waistline just isn't cooperating. It's incredibly frustrating, right? To feel like you're doing all the right things, but your body just isn't responding. It really makes you wonder if there's some kind of hidden enemy working against you. And while if you spend any time online at all, you've probably been told exactly what that enemy is. You open up social media, and suddenly you're bombarded with influencers talking about something called cortisol belly. They confidently claim that stress is secretly causing fat to stockpile right around your stomach, and that fixing your cortisol levels is this ultimate magic key to finally getting that elusive flat belly. But we have to stop and ask ourselves, is there actual hard science backing this up? Or is this just another overhyped internet trend designed to sell us a quick fix? To answer that, let's jump right into section 1, the cortisol belly myth. So, where did this incredibly catchy internet phrase even come from? Well, it actually stems from a real medical observation. Doctors have known for decades that people with extremely rare specific conditions that cause massive cortisol overproduction do tend to gather fat around their midsections. But social media just took this really complex biology and stripped away all the nuance. I mean, imagine this. You're stressed from work, your jeans are feeling a bit tight, and an incredibly fit influencer pops up on your screen claiming that fixing your cortisol is the magic cure. It's so validating. We desperately want to believe there's one simple villain causing our struggles because that means there's one simple cure. It's totally human nature to want that easy answer. Okay, let's separate the viral claims from the actual biology. In section 2, what is cortisol, actually? Right, let's dive into this. Cortisol is a hormone produced by your adrenal glands. Now, we very often, and kind of unfairly, label it just the stress hormone, but that label literally only tells a fraction of the story. Cortisol is definitely not a poison. It's a vital survival tool. In fact, you experience something called the cortisol awakening response every single morning. It's this massive, completely natural spike in cortisol designed entirely to help you wake up, shake off that morning grogginess, and tackle your day. Just think about the sheer number of vital systems cortisol controls. It regulates your blood sugar levels and your blood pressure. It manages your metabolism, controls inflammation, dictates your sleep cycles, and handles your energy production. Throughout the day, it constantly fluctuates based on your activity, your stress, and your immediate needs. It is not inherently bad. Actually, without it, your body's entire control board would just completely shut down. And this brings us to a massive disconnect between the internet and reality. The online myth suggests a really simple equation. Having belly fat automatically means your cortisol levels are high. But the reality? Completely different. Two people with the exact same waist size can have entirely different cortisol levels. Why? Because belly fat is influenced by a massive web of factors: your overall calorie intake, genetics, aging, changes in other hormones, how much muscle mass you have, and your sleep quality. Doctors simply do not diagnose a cortisol issue just by looking at someone's stomach because it is never, ever that simple. However, we definitely cannot ignore the real world. This brings us to section 3, how stress drives weight gain. Look, many of us know firsthand that during super stressful periods in our lives, we do gain weight around our midsections. So what is the actual connection? Well, while cortisol isn't some solo villain, chronic stress absolutely does drive weight gain, but it's usually an indirect culprit, driven by how stress changes our behaviors. Let's walk through this behavioral cascade. Step 1. When you're stressed, your brain practically screams for comfort. Let's be honest, nobody craves a bowl of steamed broccoli after a terrible day at work, right? We crave high-calorie comfort foods stuffed rich in sugar and carbs just for that quick dopamine hit. Step 2. All this anxiety ruins our sleep, which wrecks the hormones that regulate hunger and fullness, meaning we wake up even hungrier the next day. Step 3. The exhaustion sets in. When we're totally overwhelmed, we move less, we skip the gym, and we spend way more time sitting on the couch. We end up eating way more and burning way less. Now, biology definitely does play a part here. Research suggests that prolonged chronic elevations in cortisol can actually encourage the body to store the excess fat we're gaining, specifically around the abdominal region. Cortisol basically acts like a traffic cop, directing where the fat goes. But remember, the excess calories had to get there first through those stressed behaviors we just talked about. The hormone is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. This is a really good moment to shift our perspective, leading into section 4, why belly fat matters. Social media totally fixates on how we look at the beach or how we fit into our clothes. But from a serious medical perspective, carrying fat around the midsection is critical because not all body fat behaves the exact same way. The fat stored deep inside around your internal organs is known as visceral fat, and it acts almost like an organ itself, actively pumping out inflammatory chemicals. High levels of visceral fat are directly linked to drastically increased risks of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and metabolic disorders. This isn't just about aesthetics. This is a serious conversation about long-term vitality and survival. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5. Real solutions, not shortcuts. Since the medical stakes are that high, we really have to strip away the nonsense. It is time to drop the trendy detox plans and put down those wildly expensive miracle supplements. The biggest irony in the wellness space right now is watching people obsessed over microscopic ways to lower their cortisol while completely ignoring the absolute foundation of their health. I mean, we buy supplements, we eliminate entire food groups, and we do extreme cleanses, all while continuing to sleep only 5 hours a night, eat highly processed fast foods, and live under a state of constant, unmanaged stress. You simply cannot out-supplement poor sleep and a bad diet. It just doesn't work. If we genuinely want to fix how our bodies handle stress and fat, we have to look at the unsexy but highly effective fundamentals. Prioritize quality sleep. It is literally the ultimate reset button for your hunger hormones and your natural cortisol patterns. Exercise regularly to naturally burn off stress and improve your metabolism. Manage your stress proactively through deep breathing, walking, or meditation. Eat balanced meals with protein and fiber to stabilize your energy. And crucially, limit constant stimulation. Step away from the endless doom scrolling and the constant pinging of notifications. It just keeps your nervous system in a perpetual state of alarm. We really have to let go of the idea of a magic shortcut. Most belly fat is not caused by cortisol alone, which means it definitely cannot be cured by some magical cortisol-lowering hack. Healthy cortisol levels are just the natural byproduct of healthy lifestyle habits. And this brilliantly illustrates the bottom line. The real secret isn't a trendy social media buzzword. It's understanding how your entire body works together. Your sleep, nutrition, stress management, and movement, they're all interconnected gears in the exact same machine. You cannot fix a machine by obsessing over just one gear. So the question we all really have to ask ourselves is this. Knowing what we know now about how our bodies genuinely respond to stress, what are we going to focus on tomorrow morning? Will we commit to the boring but beautiful basics of consistent sleep, balanced meals, and real stress management? Or will we just keep chasing the next viral internet cure? The power to actually change your health is right there in the fundamentals. Thanks so much for exploring this explainer with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.